Once I talk to you about what the just saw the market is 3 blocks. So it has a big bar. But then around the bar, they made it long side. So it's easy What I'm saying is, you don't need to do what you want to do. Another area. But the house,
So what do you want me to do? So if you like what you want.
Oh, there's music.
Like what? I
I love you. Ah, okay.
Oh, you're really well, you listen to Yeah. Okay, so I'm
No, I'm sorry.
so what? I said it's going on there. I know it's good right now. When you get back. What time is it? What time is it? What's the time?
Hey, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, everybody.
Let me get Brian. Is your presentation already pulled up?
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through the front. Okay.
Yep. And then
So for the record, I need to clean up the mask.
You ready? So, yeah, what's your plan here?
This is for the podcast.
Sure, yeah, so you can let Mike go with that, and then we'll just plug that one in. Or how are the batteries in these?
oh, look at this, Brian. Wow. Thank you.
Okay, what was the other one? Good. So, but, here's the thing, are you the only one speaking?
Today.
Oh, you got
Paula's not gonna, no, fourth
that? Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so you're good on that.
Do I need to move my flags?
What's that?
Do I need to move the flags?
No, they're fine. Yeah.
Martha's gonna be interviewed.
Okay. What's going on? Or, that's what happens when people see you. They just drop everything they're doing. Okay, so this is, that's tripod if we were to do the shotgun.
Do you want the shotgun for questions or not? You can actually record it on the other recorders since we have two.
No, you could actually plug in, this has two XLRs.
That's for like.
So yeah,
It's got two, this has
he was
two.
hoping to
Yeah.
pick up some of the questions.
So you could use the shotgun and put it here, so everybody's thing, and then this would have the wireless on.
Okay.
And I meant to get it out of town.
It's a biggie,
Sorry about that.
but they're nice. Okay. They're nice.
So that-
And then
Okay, so power. So that's there, and then it turns on. Okay. I'm gonna go and reformat the card, so it's starting at 0. Okay.
So good.
here, why didn't you do it on this one while he does it on that one? So you're actually doing it. I might be a teacher. Yeah.
Oh, you got that.
Maybe we got the cover.
Oh. I did order 4 for the other ones. They
They're
said-
not protectable, they're like.
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
Okay, so I.
Yep. Okay. We'll wait.
Okay. I mean, I work for radio, so have a nice.
This isn't a Marantz. You want a Marantz? You want one that
No,
goes
I
on your
haven't.
shoulder? Like, no idea what you said, but this one's already down, so I'm gonna replace the batteries. That one's okay. So after we're done with this, I'll switch it up. Okay. So we're gonna hit menu. Okay. And now we're gonna use this little dial here. Okay. We're gonna go down. SD card. Hit SD card. Yep. And then format it to your
Hey, Ala, you want to pull up your presentation? I did. Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, we got it.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We can look at it. I'm all right.
Maybe there's 2 days and okay, 7 hours.
Yeah, I'll look at it because it will tell us. We can look it up on the menu.
And I think too, because I don't have all these books, therefore I don't want to get down to the other one.
Yep, I'm on this down, yes.
Okay, so now if we go to menu,
We will
If we
have
go to record. yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's so that if you want good,
And so let's put into
Amplification.
record format.
you can put this on your other
Same
laptop.
format here. We'll move down. Yeah, let's just do the top. 44.116 bit. Yeah.
Correct.
There you
What's
go.
that?
Now
All right.
talk this way. No, that won't.
Here. All right, so let's go. Press
Hi,
menu
this
to
is
go back.
Chris, and do you hear me well? That's correct.
Know what you want.
Just take this off. You don't want to connect on your
So I just want to make sure. Correct. No. Cronkite draws the line at that.
Yeah, but how do you work where you?
Well,
Well,
you
you
would
need to bring
assume
your
you have
own.
your own.
You have to bring your own. We don't provide it for students.
Okay. Let's go to input real quick just to make sure we're all set here. Okay.
It's just understanding.
Under input?
If you can. It's up to you.
No.
When you speak, instead of speaking behind your shoulder to this, you speak either to this or you move to the side. and speak to this. Because when you turn to go over your shoulder.
Okay, good, we're all the same there, so menu. And I know you want to know how long to record, files.
So you're here.
Okay, so let's press, press menu and get out of there. Make sure we're, so there it is, okay.
Don't get in the way.
Bingo. So this 25 is probably
If you're gonna
very far.
be, if you're gonna be a nuisance, stay out of
All right.
the dark.
So I'm gonna change the batteries on these, and then this is mic 1 and mic 2. So if you plug in 2 mics,
Do I need a mic there?
there's a shotgun mic, there's a mic here,
Okay.
but it depends on what you're gonna use it for. I don't know what
So in a room like this, I would do what?
I would probably use a shotgun mic.
Really, I have to carry that.
Well, I mean, you don't have to carry this thing, but you could put it in the bag or something like that. I mean, again, you guys can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Okay. Okay, so in this room, I would shotgun the speaker guy.
No, we're gonna shotgun
No, not here. I mean, in the
in Nogales. You'd be handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, if I wanna record the
Whole thing. Yeah, I get set up the tripod and do it that way.
How do we set it?
Okay, that doesn't obviously go in there. So this plugs into this, okay, and then goes into here. Okay, let me change this battery.
One or two?
Whichever one you want.
And if I do an interview, I do like this, just like this.
No, I would still use this guy. Again, you can do whatever you
No,
want.
no, no, I mean, This is not.
It's gonna sound a ton better on that.
Really?
And it's gonna sound good here, but you're gonna pick up all of
And when
the,
I do like packaging thing myself.
I would still use that.
Really?
Why not be consistent?
No, I'm consistent, yes, I'm just thinking, why is this device not good enough?
It is good enough, but it's a matter of, it's the quality,
Okay.
you know, it's good, and that's all you have.
So how do I walk around with this and this, so in one hand this and one hand this?
Correct.
Brian Schneider, there's 3 minutes for you on it.
Thank you, Dr. Bill.
And you're Skyping with me tonight at 9?
Are we?
Yes.
Okay, I never got a confirmation that that was actually
Just log
happening.
into your Skype at 9 p.m. while you're watching TV.
Okay,
And we should, this is just a test.
I'm just gonna listen.
This is just
Yeah,
a real
yeah.
quick test to see if it would work. The
Okay,
real thing with the faculty is next week
okay.
at 6 a.m. in the morning.
How do I know that
Okay.
this mic is not?
Right, so headphones would be,
Mic check. Hang on.
we're not even there yet, guys. You guys want everything like immediate, it just doesn't work like that, okay?
Why did you?
So I'm just making sure, so we're in 2, okay? Input 1, 2, 1, 2 here, okay? I'm gonna put fan power on this, so. I'm gonna change that too.
My understanding, the advantage of the radio and using so small device that you don't scare people with anything big. And this is something large that,
No, but that's gonna get you good sound. You don't have to be very close.
I know, but you know, this is supposed to be a good sound.
But if you're right there,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
if you,
if that's here,
if
yeah,
you're
but
right
if
here,
you're in the back of the room trying to,
no, not in the back of the room, in a one-on-one interview, this would be good enough. I mean, and it doesn't scare people, so this is one big
well,
device. But all right, let's try something new in life.
check. 1, 2, so I really need, you can't do a mic check until you're recording, so you won't see any movement until we start recording, so check 1, 2, and right now it's just on pause. Okay, notice how there's nothing moving. If I want to record now, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. It seems a little hot, so we can boost that record level down, okay,
I mean, I'm gonna be recorded.
record level down.
Okay, so how do I know if I have to put it down?
So this is.
So you see how it's,
It doesn't have
check,
to be.
see how,
Yes.
you don't want it on 0. I want it closer to -12 or -6.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move that record level down to probably somewhere in that check 1, 2, 3, because you can always boost audio
Yes,
later. You
yes,
can't do anything later. So I'm gonna stop that record, and now if I go and play, now the volume level on a headset, you wanna have probably in the 75 range.
Okay, so did you do something special so that my group will recommend my.
Remember, to see the mic, right? I'm not seeing the mic, it's not moving. And now I'm recording on
Okay,
pause.
that's.
This is a
And
pause.
this goes from.
Yeah, I only got one, so it's putting it on both channels. If I were to put another mic in, for instance,
Raj, are you loaded?
and I don't have headphones, so this would be, this would be critical to have headphones on a day like today, just to make sure that we're getting what we're getting at the end. Go check one more thing here.
Al, are you first? Are you going first?
I think she's been second. I'm in first.
Okay.
Oh, hi. I agree with that. And this is.
There you go. So that would go here. So you just force it under there. And
We're
then
live in
okay,
3 minutes.
spread out. And then there. Okay, so you could flip it the other way or which way.
You got your device. We need to bring back in. Show starting in 2 minutes.
So it's starting in 2 minutes. That's what I'm going to say. But the middle is just one event.
Yeah, you should change that, yeah. Where's the, talk for me? Oh, you just. Hang on. Go away.
So which equipment is the one you're giving?
Both of these kits are going with you guys to Mexico. So you guys figure out who's going to do it.
Okay. What is this?
Right there where you.
That's in case people use this with a DSLR. But that just stays in there.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you? Good to see you. What's new?
What's that?
Well,
At this point, yeah. Yeah, you got just count 10 for me. Oh, you?
I'm going. How's this? Yeah.
This is great. Have a seat. There's some more lingering. If you could take your seats, please, the next couple of minutes, we'll get started.
Wireless mic. I would make sure you guys have extra batteries. You double it. Anyway. Oh, well, I mean, that would probably be ideal. So you can go ahead.
So just a couple of announcements as we get ready to go live here. Remember that it is a live event, so it's being live streamed around the world. We do often have fellows who have been here in the past who tune in to see what's happening. So when you are ready to ask questions, we have time for questions of Raj and Ala. We'll invite them, we'll invite you to come at least forward of the mic of where the little camera is, because otherwise the folks back home won't be able to see you. Is everybody, want to just give a minute for Brian to get his stuff going?
Those are role. Yeah, when you see the numbers.
So let's.
When you, and then you guys.
We'll welcome you back, and we're also feeling as if we're broadcasting live, because we are. And we hope that at least a few people are out there in the World Wide Web watching this first of the 2016 series of what's called Cronkite Global Conversations, where we feature the International Humphrey Fellows that are a big part of what we do at Cronkite School. Our mission for the Cronkite Global Initiatives is for the students, faculty, and staff to be able to see the world. Then they know the world and can report the world a little bit better. And when they are not able to travel around the world, the best way to fulfill that mission is literally bringing the world to them. We're joined today by fellows from the University of Minnesota's Humphrey program. At Cronkite Global Initiatives, in addition to the Humphrey program, we do the Edward R. Murrow Fellowships, we have faculty scholarly exchanges, Fulbright programs, and study abroads. The Humphrey program, for those in the webinar audience who may not be familiar with it, is named, and this is the political season in the United States, after Hubert H. Humphrey, who in 1968 ran for president and lost to Richard Milhouse Nixon. He, of course, was Lyndon Johnson's vice president. Since he lost that election, he could have retired, but he chose to reboost his life, went back into the Senate, had another distinguished career, and when he passed away in 1978, then President Jimmy Carter named the Humphrey program after him. Our Humphrey Fellow Program is part of the Fulbright family of programs with the State Department, and at the Cronkite School as well as at the University of Minnesota. That includes the fellows taking classes, getting involved in community service activities, having faculty mentors, and especially being involved in what's called a professional affiliation, where they spend a portion of their time in the United States at a professional organization. Here at the Cronkite Humphrey Program, we have a blog where our fellows are blogging about all of the experiences they're having in America, and together with the Minnesota fellows, they will be traveling the next 2 days down to southern Arizona and across the border into Mexico. So next week, the blog post will feature their experiences and impressions of what's happened as they try to study human events and human rights and issues related to the border. We also have Facebook pages for both programs, which we hope you'll find us there. You can find us on all the social media applications, and indeed there will be some live tweets going on at this session today. Our two speakers today is to inaugurate the 2016 Cronkite Global Conversations. First of all, we have from the wonderful land, where did she go? In Russia. There she is, is Alla. And following Alla, we'll have Rajneesh. And I'll get out of the way, and we'll just make this streamless so that we can spend most of the time hearing what the fellows have to share. And then there'll be some time for Q&A afterwards. Oh, you're going first. I'm sorry.
Let me hold the presentation. That's great. Good afternoon, everyone, and especially those watching us live on YouTube. And if you're watching us live and if you want to tweet, you can use Cronkite, HHS, and if you have any questions that we could discuss. And people out here, if you have any questions, and just raise your hand. I'm very open to interactive sessions. It's not just me going. Yeah. So today I'll be talking about the earthquake in Nepal, especially how things are going ahead for the last 10 months. And so when the earthquake happened in Nepal, I was in Nepal. When the first tremor was there. I was trekking in one of the hills. In Nepal, we call these small mountains what we call in the United States hills. So until there's snow, we don't call it a mountain. So we call it a hill. So I was just trekking out there, and then there was a small sudden breeze, and I thought that it was a small breeze, but that was not a breeze. Like, it continued for a minute, and it was an earthquake. And when I saw something from there, especially from that hill downwards to a valley, I could see all the buildings were shaking, and there was dust coming out from there. And for a minute, I thought that Kathmandu, the whole valley was gone. Like, all the buildings are collapsed and was gone. But fortunately, it was only dust, and most of the buildings were okay in Kathmandu. But outside of Kathmandu, it was not the case. So I'll be talking about how I covered the event, also what happened there. And I went back in December. I also did some reportings, and I'll tell what's happening there right now. So the picture that you could see here right now is an open tent right now. So I took this picture in December, and this was also featured on Al Jazeera Plus. I did some Instagram posting and some reportings for them when I was there, and still thousands of people are living in open tents like this. So 10 months before, as I was mentioning, on April 25th, there was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Nepal. The other day, I was filming, there was another 6.9 magnitude earthquake. On May 12th, there was 7.3. So these were some of the biggest earthquakes within a month. But there are many aftershocks still going in Nepal. Even yesterday, there was another aftershock that was greater than 4 magnitude. So that means if there is something above 4, you could actually feel it. So that's something very much you could actually sense that and feel that. So anything below 4, you could a little bit feel it, but you can actually recognize what's happening and what's going there. So far from April 25th till date, there are more than 400 aftershocks in Nepal that are greater than 4 magnitude. So it's always a very difficult time out there, and going through it. So after the earthquake on April 25th, I met this guy in a hospital, and I interviewed him, and he told me like how difficult was it for him to come back to the hospital as there was nobody to cure him. So the whole situation in Kathmandu and in most of the districts in Nepal went really tense, and around 9,000 people have died. 22,000 people are injured.
The guy you that shown,
Uh-huh.
did you interview him after the earthquake?
Mm-hmm.
And when you went back,
Mm-hmm.
did you see him?
That's a good question. So you're asking me when I went in December,
Mhm.
did I see him? No, I didn't see him. So I interviewed him in a hospital. It's called Bir Hospital. That's one of the public hospitals in Kathmandu, and there were so many people being brought up there. I interviewed him, and he told me how difficult it was. But I didn't get to talk to him after 8 months when I was back there. But I went to other people where we're going through all these things, and I'll tell you in details in a little part of my slides. Yes, so I was in a monastery when the earthquake happened. I interviewed monks, how they survived, and all those things out there. So 800,000 houses are damaged, and 35 districts are affected. So in Nepal, we don't call states, or we don't call counties. We call districts or zones. So 35 districts means there are 75 districts in Nepal, and out of 75 districts, 35 districts were affected, and out of 35 districts, especially 12 or 30 districts were very much badly affected.
Sorry again.
Sure, please.
What made your country so vulnerable to earthquake?
Mhm. That's a good question. Why Nepal is in the risk of earthquake? So it has been going on because there are mountains, and when you have mountains in any places, what happens is how mountains are formed. You should watch a beautiful documentary by PBS that was broadcasted 2 weeks back, and they talk about how things are going there. So they have scientific evidence like why things are happening in Nepal right now. So when there are mountains and all those things, when the land collide, then when the land is moving, even if we are here and if we are standing, things underground are moving, and because of this collision, the whole things are happening. And Nepal it lies in a seismic zone, so that means Nepal is very prone to earthquake. And every 90 years, Nepal will have a big earthquake that is above 7 magnitude. So every 90 years is there. So I was talking to different this people who survived and all those things, and doing my stories for international media outlets, including the New York Times and National Geographic and other outlets. So the picture that you see, all the pictures that I'm showing here are taken by me, and the videos that I'll be showing are all produced by me. So this one, the picture you are seeing right now is a picture of a big tower. It's called Dharahara, and it was standing tall before the earthquake, but after the earthquake collapsed, and many people died in this in this spot right there. And UNESCO said many World Heritage Sites in Kathmandu were partially damaged and partially or fully damaged. They said I interviewed a person from UNESCO in Kathmandu, and he said more than 70% of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Kathmandu are damaged or affected by the earthquake. And if you want to see more stories, what I covered, you can go to my website. It's resonance.asia. So just go there, and you could find more reportings about the earthquake that I reported from. from Kathmandu. So I'll be showing a video that I did for the National Geographic. It's 5 minutes long, and then I'll tell you how I did this story.
अहिलेसम्म पनि खाद्यान्न नआएको कारणले एकदम समस्या भइरहेको छ। बिहान कमाए बेलुका के खाउँ भन्नेलाई खाने मान्छेलाई बेलुका खाएपछि भोलि बिहान के खाउँ भन्ने खालका जनताहरू पनि यतैतिर छन्। भुइँचालो आउँदाखेरि यही घरमा थिएँ म, मोबाइल खेलेर बसिरहेको थिएँ। मोबाइल खेलेर बसिरहेको अवस्थाले गर्दाखेरि बाहिर निस्किने प्रयास गर्दाखेरि ढोकामा 3 जना परेर 3 जना ढोकामा एकै ठाउँमा परेर हामी ढोकाले थिचिन पुग्यौँ। हामी जस्तै गरिबहरूको जस्तै अब कच्ची घर हुनेहरूको बेसी जस्तो क्षति भयो। अब ढुङ्गाको घरहरू यस्तो कारणले हो, हाम्रो यो ठाउँमा खानकीको कारण पनि मिले 12 बजे खाना हुनाले उही समयमा भुइँचालो आउँदाखेरि बढी जस्तो क्षति पुग्यो। सबैजनालाई जोगाउन कहाँ सकिन्थ्यो र आफ्नो परिवार फेला परिसकेपछि हामी उडा पनि गर्न पुग्यौँ। हाम्रो तल राजन दनुवारलाई पनि राजन दनुवारको परिवार पुरिरहेको छ, त्यहाँ हामीले खोतलास गर्दाखेरि त्यहाँ निकाल्न पुग्यौँ।
त्यसरी आउँदा त्यो निस्किन खोज्दा झ्यापे पुग्यो होइन। म लगायत मभन्दा पछाडि लास्टमा भएको थियो कान्छो भाइ, बिचमा मेरो बुढी र बच्चा, अगाडिमा थियो निस्किनै भएन। अरूलाई पनि मेरो यो यस्तो हालत हेर्दाखेरि अरूलाई पनि पीडा त पक्कै हुन्छ होला हुन्छ, त्यही पनि त्योभन्दा बढी पीडा त मलाई नै हुन्छ। एकातिर आफ्नो अब श्रीमती गुमाएँ, बच्चा गुमाएँ, पछि गएर मेरो बच्चाले नै बुढीले मलाई कतिसम्म माया गर्थ्यो, मेरो छोरीले पाल्थ्यो होला सायद। मैले अब अनुभवै गर्न पाइनँ मेरो छोरीको माया।
76-77 जना हुने सबभन्दा धेरै नै जनसङ्ख्या एउटै गाविसमा यत्रो च्यान हुनुभन्दा धेरै खतरा कुरो हो। अब गाउँलेहरू अब खुल्ला आकाश मुनि बसिरहेका छन्। अब हामीलाई एउटा पाल मात्र लिएर पनि ठुलो रात हुन्थ्यो भन्ने सोचाइ छन् गाउँलेहरूको। भूकम्प आएर पनि पानी परेर सबै बस्नलाई पनि एकदम गाह्रो। खुल्ला आकाश मुनि बस्दाखेरि भिजेर बस्नु परेको छ। यहाँ खाने पनि खासै रासनै छैन भन्दा नि हुने भयो। अब कुनै पनि अलिअलि मकै भए तापनि मकै भुटेर खाने गरिरहेछ, पेल्ने ठाउँ पनि छैन। खाद्यान्न आउँदैछ। खाद्यान्नको लागि हाम्रो भित्तारको सबै दनुवार बस्तीको लागि विशेष गरी भनेर आइरहेको हो सर। गाडी चाहिँ आउनु लाग्यो कि त्यो हो कि होइन, फेरि अन्त पनि त हुनसक्छ। बिटर जाँदा उ गऱ्यो जाँदै गरे जस्तै चौचौ पानी अथवा कुनै खाद्यान्नहरू छ। यो पनि आएको छैन अहिलेसम्म। पहिलोपल्ट लिस्ट खै कुन चाहिँ हेलो तपाईँ लिस्टको सङ्कलन तपाईँ हो लाइन हो पानी उनीहरूले हो ठिक छ मिलाउनुहोस्। हामीसँग भएको कुरा
For this story, like I had to go to Sindhupalchok. Sindhupalchok is one of the most affected areas in Nepal after the earthquake. So around your question.
Yes, I have actually 2 questions. Is there any presence for international organization respond to this kind of emergency? And the second question, is the government with any international organizations, they are doing a cooperative contingency plan to respond for this kind of emergency level that we are as humanitarian workers classify it?
That's a good question. So I'll talk about national and international response right here.
Repeat the question, Raj.
Okay. The question she's asking is about whether international communities are responding or did respond after the earthquake, and whether they are supporting right now. What things are going right now. So I'll talk briefly about the video, and then I'll come to the response, the national, the international, and citizens' response that happened after the earthquake. So when I was doing that video or any other videos I produced after the earthquake, I went to rural areas, and to go to these areas was not easy because of the earthquake. There were so many landslides, and the roads were obstructed. You can actually go through a car or a jeep. You can't actually access so easily. So you could go to some places, and then from there you have to walk by foot. With carrying all your gear. So I work as a multimedia journalist. That means I film myself, I write my text, I also edit the whole thing myself, and I produced as a one-man team. So I was going there alone to do these stories. And when I did these stories, I was staying in villages, sometimes overnight with these people. They were living in open tents. I was with them in those difficult situations. So after the earthquake, there was national response. The way Nepal responded in the first few weeks was quite exemplary, because I've seen many incidents like that before. But the way the Nepal police, the army, and these officials work was really praiseworthy. And then there was good support from international community. After the earthquake, we had support from Bhutan, from India, from China, from America, all parts of the world. They were coming there and helping people in need with food, with medical supplies, or with all kinds of supports. That was necessary for the people up there. There was citizens' response as well. For the first time in its history in Nepal, such type of response was seen from the citizen level. Actually, they came up with food, with blankets, with whatever they have to support people who were suffering from the earthquake. So the citizens were also involved in rescue thing as well. So as soon as the earthquake happened, they didn't wait for the second personnel, so police or army, to come and rescue. They themselves went there to rescue people and to support. That was really good. So this is one of the maps that shows how things moved on, and which were the places which needed help and support from this. So you could click this map and then find out what's happening where. So what I was doing was I was reporting in different places. So this was of me filming a short video for NPR. I was at the epicenter in Gorkha, in Barpak. That was the place where the earthquake hit on April 25th. And it was not easy to go to that place because it was very far and it was very remote. And I wanted a good story, so I had to walk for a couple of hours to talk to people, because I want to reach to the place where sometimes even the health workers or even the people who wanted to support have not reached there. So many times they said to me that you are the first journalist I've met, or you're the first journalist who have reached this place. So after the earthquake, okay, another question, please.
Do you ever face an internal struggle where you want to help the people, but you're reporting you're not able to do something? Do you face ethical questions about whether or not you should be there, whether you should be bringing food yourself to help?
It's a great question. The question what she's asking is about ethical dilemma. What as journalists are reporting or covering the event, like what different things, or how does it go? So definitely, yes. So when I was reporting on the first day, like on the 25th, there was this monk who was in the rubble, because he was meditating, and the whole the building collapsed. And there were other people trying to help. So I was there, and my first thing was because there was somebody, and then she wants some translation with the people. So I helped in translation. I gave my water to the guy. So and my first response was, being a journalist, and before filming, I always wanted to do something. But it's always a difficult time when you're covering, because you're there to take a picture, but inside there's a lot of pain, to see such things happening, because you work with your hurt, and then you get a lot of emotional at that situation. It's always very difficult when we're covering such tragedies, when we're covering the mega quake that happens in almost in a century or something. It's really difficult. But as a journalist, like most of the times, what I try to do is try to not express that emotion of feelings, because if I express that, I might be too much carried away, and then I may not be able to tell the stories out there. Yeah. Another question.
Yeah, I was just asking about that. Most of the time, major casualties, they happen because of the faulty construction of buildings and all these things. Do you see any plans in Nepal going for strict building controls, codes, and to follow them and to enforce them, so that such casualties are minimized in future also?
But that's a good question.
Because we had...
Identify yourself on what country.
Yeah, I am Fida from Pakistan. We had also a major earthquake back in 2005 in Pakistan, and that killed more than 100,000 people over there. So that faulty construction was one of the major reasons.
Yeah, it's a very good question about the construction and code of things for building these houses. So after the earthquake, Nepal came up, said that you should pass this this whole architectural things when you're building or something. But before that, especially in villages and rural areas, most of the houses that were damaged during the earthquake were from the rural areas and villages. So because they didn't pass the whole house code and all those things, so that's why it happened. But now the government is planning and working on it to how to make it more secure out there, and they want more strong infrastructure and buildings also in rural areas, but it's becoming very slow. So I'd like to talk what happened after that, and after all those things. So after the earthquake, the good thing Nepal had was all the political parties they that were in different directions, because they never came to a conclusion, and it took nearly 10 years for the political parties to come up with a single constitution in Nepal. So after a couple of months after the earthquake, they came together and came with a new constitution in Nepal. But in the constitution, they could not, have all these, agendas or all the demands by all the small groups of political parties. So what happened is there was a political chaos in Nepal, and then because of that political chaos, there was economic blockade. That means that Nepal could not get food, fuel, and medical supplies from the borders. So Nepal is a landlocked country, so it's not connected with any ocean or sea. So it all gets food from its neighbors, either it's from the border towards Tibet, or from the three borders or other main borders with India. So these supplies were not there, and the people, especially suffering, the earthquake survivors had to suffer more. And the good thing is, recently the blockade has been lifted 2 days back. So Nepal, and I've read in the news that the food and supplies are coming in a normal way. So what are the challenges ahead? The challenges ahead. This is a picture I took during my December trip in Nepal. So this lady is from Sindhupalchok, one of the worst hit area, and her son is suffering from pneumonia. A few child died in Sindhupalchok because of the cold, and these children who died were the earthquake victims, earthquake survivors, and they died because they didn't have enough for clothes to wear and to cope up with the cold. So the first thing is about the reconstruction, about the building codes and all those things. And it took so long for Nepal to come up with the National Earthquake Reconstruction Authority. They recently, 2 months back, they came with this authority, and on April 25th, they will be distributing the support to build houses. So for each family, they said they will donate, or they will support $2,000 to rebuild the houses out there. Another challenge is the proper use of relief funds, especially how the fund will be used, especially in developing nations like that, because Transparency International has has put Nepal as one of the third countries in South Asia. So the big question is how the whole fund will be used and how things will proceed, because it has already been 10 months after the earthquake, and people really don't think that the government has done enough to help them or to support them. I'll show you a video I did recently when I was there, and then if you have any questions, we'll take it.
अरू त चिसो छ नि पहिलेको छेउनी छैन केही छैन त्यतिकै खाना नि गाह्रो छ गाह्रो सोच छैन यहाँ पालमा बसेको 12 गते भुइँचालो 13 गतेदेखि बस्यो पहिलेदेखि यहीँ बसिरहेको अब बच्चा सानो छ सन्चो छैन ज्वरो आइरहेको छ पालमा चिसो हुन्छ सिरक बस्न किन्ने पैसा हुँदैन राखेको त सरकारले हेर्छ भने हेरेर अहिलेसम्म केही पाइएको छैन
So this is how things are moving here, and if you have any questions regarding this, please let me know. Yeah, please.
Yeah. I am Nitson Obiste. I'm from Haiti. I come from a country that has been devastated by an earthquake of almost 8.0 of magnitude.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty big.
Yeah. And as my colleague mentioned, when we look deeper, when we look for the cause, the root, the real reason that we have so many people die, so many destruction in the country. So we see that the catastrophe was an engineering catastrophe in Haiti, in the case of Haiti, because we have construction that were not well built. So people mostly die because of that. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you, as a measure to be prepared for future earthquake, that you have to use the fund properly. But you didn't mention the education. Mm-hmm. But in the case of Haiti, I know many people die because they do not know how to do when an earthquake occurs. Uh-huh. So I think that you should invest some kind of
things on education.
Education, okay. Right. For people to know how to do in the case of
exactly. So I'm running out of time. You're absolutely correct. Education is also very important in this scenario. If you have any questions in the room or people watching us on YouTube, please send it to me at Rajneeshvi. I'm on Twitter as well, or you can tweet using Cronkite HHS, and then we'll respond. So let this conversation moving so that we have a better future for Nepal. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Raj. Let's set up here. Ella has a distinguished career in Russia and Moscow. She's led over 30 international journalism projects. She has a master's degree in journalism from Moscow. She's one of our valued Humphrey Fellows, as you all are that are here in the room and watching from the webinar live all around the room. We have a former Barrett Honor student who is an attaché with us, who has a keen interest in Russia and is about to perhaps go even work over there. So he'll connect with Alla afterwards. Alla, thank you very much. And the interesting thing about Raj and Alla, in contrast for you, Raj, as you can see, is a very professional, well-trained journalist. Alla comes from the other side of the communications spectrum. She's from public relations, public communications. So it's a nice way to see both of them together.
Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming, and I want to say hello, my Russian friends who watch me now, and because it's online translation. My name is Alma Nadeshkina. I'm a journalist and also PR expert from Russia with 15 years experience in different areas in media. And today I would like to talk about Russian media and structure of media environment in Russia. And I'd like to start my presentation with an extremely famous quotation from a Russian poet, Fyodor Tyutchev, who explained features of mysterious Russian soul. For the insist of Russia, you should not use your brain, and measurement of Russia in common yards is vain. It has a very special and very unique gift, a great belief in Russia, you ought just to persist. Agree with the poet. I'd like to know that Russian media market built on its own rules and has its own specific. And I'm going to divide my report into 4 parts. First of all, I would like to talk about research data about outlets in Russia, and it will be the biggest part of my presentation, and you can ask any question. And lastly, I will present to you some features of Russian media and try to give a forecast how Russian media will develop in the future. And let's start with the audience. 146 million residents in Russia. I'd like to draw your attention. There is a great variety of culture, religious, ethics, and geographical features among the Russian media audience. And here is a statistic research or research data, how average Russian spend time, what average Russian does every week, and of course, any kinds of everyday activities are going to sport, spending time with families is not included in this slide, but it's a general information. So, 37 hours we spent time on the walk, 43 hours we sleep, and about 1 hour we make love. You can compare with your own time. And imagine 108 hours we spend time with the media. 108 hours. It's a huge. And how we use these 108 hours with media. 41 hours we watch TV and listen to radio. 49 hours we search on internet. 12 hours we spend with social media. And only 8 hours per week we read newspapers, magazines, and old media. And it's not good, not bad, it's just a fact. Moving on our next point. There are 93 hours in Russia, and 90% of them are non-governmental outlets. And now I will talk with you about TV, radio, news agency, and internet. Let's move to Russian TV. 81% TV in my country. It is the most popular way to provide information to people. Whole audience of Russian television divided into 3 parts. The first one is the residents of Russia. The second audience is people who are interested in Russia. And the third audience is the Russian people who live abroad. Now I want to show you a few different Russian channels. One of them for internal audience and another for international audience. This is my boss. It's one of my boss. One of the most popular weekly program on the governmental channel. You can watch it in prime time on Saturday evening, and he's ancient and famous Russian TV journalist Dmitry Kiselyov, and the main idea of the program is observe international events in the light of Russian state interest. And he's under the sanction and the agenda of his program about hot button issues. And he has the largest Russian audience in our country. And usually
Искусство рисования крупных пятен или новая беспристрастная журналистика BBC. Фильм о Путине. Это «Люди недели». И я, Дмитрий Киселев. Добрый вечер. Смотрите сейчас. Как BBC на деньги налогоплательщиков в английском короле. В поисках тайных богатств Путина выдали уголовников за так ничего и не нашли. Гадины. Горят покрышки уже в Европе.
And he covers all international hot bottom issues for our Russian audience, and he's very popular in Russia. Another big media outlets called Russia Today. To be honest, Russia Today is our first news project in modern Russia, which has worldwide coverage. Russia Today available is more than 100 countries and broadcast on French, Arabic, English, and German. The unique features of Russia Today is broadcasting only for foreign audience. In Russia, we don't have Russian TV channel on the air, but you can watch Russia Today on Russian language in the internet, just internet. And the content separate what you can watch like in English language and in Russian language. I stay in the United States almost 1 year, and very often I hear that Russia Today has called Russian propaganda. It's the main gate of Kremlin propaganda. On the other hand, we cannot agree that Russia Today produced a high quality content based on the world-class journalist standards, so you can watch it and make your own decision. Is it true or not? Now I would like to share with you a humorous video with the Russia Today chief editor Margarita Simonyan. It's my second boss, and it's a main role about how Russian propaganda works. I wanna repeat, it's a funny video for our internal audience in Russia. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this video in English, but I think it's clear without any words. Okay, just 2 seconds.
Так, Манечки. Вась, я тебя еще позвала, собственно говоря. Ты же у нас креативный директор, я тебя позвала.
$1.
Петрович посоветовал. Сам видишь, сколько про фигню пишут в последнее время. Уже, честно говоря, достало. Я знаешь, подумала. Ролик про то, как у нас реально все работает. Я прям сегодня ребят заряжу, и все пишут, и делают, и выложу на YouTube, пусть смотрят, как у нас реально, да? Что думаешь, сделаем? Ну и все.
Его нашел, how Russian propaganda works. This is a trailer with money for Russia Today. It's a budget of Russia Today. In this trailer. Before the crisis, it was 5 trailers, but now just 1 trailer. This is main editor of Russia Today. She's just 33 years old.
А ну разберитесь, что такое? Что это такое? А ты куда смотришь, а? Боец! Алло! Вот так стой. Молодец. Михалыч, привет. Молодцы. Молодцы. Алло! Вы что, совсем уже опустили, что ли, а? Алло, гараж, ну что? Чё же, я не пойму, вы что, не видите вас?
Все, четко по инструкциям.
Что ты избрали?
Зачистим.
Узор Россия! Это Люба наша, она работает только по инструкции из Кремля, между прочим. Все строго у всех. Здесь у нас Сирия, Донбасс, Ирак,
Сирия, Донбасс, Ирак,
Йемен, корреспондентики наши, под Саулями работают. Здрасте. Вот так, все по-честному.
It's real story in Russia today.
Oh my gosh. No, this is in Syria.
Ну что, экспатики мои,
Expats.
Наша мама пришла, молочка принесла.
I'm your mother, and I think you're.
Пожалуйста, давай мы сюда приехать работать. Ну что, London is the capital of Great Britain. Где новостная? Тут работает молодежь. О, Николай Павлович, все под контролем?
Все под контролем, у меня не забалуешься.
Понял? Ну что, вы как-то так это себе представляли?
How you can imagine Russian propaganda? Okay, let's move further. Russia today creates open Russian mainstream, and it happened to be. And it's not bad, it's not good, it's just a fact.
I like that.
Let's move to radio station coverage. In big cities with population more than 1 million residents, Russia has more audience than television. There are more than 3,000 entertainment and news radio stations in 85 regions of Russia. I'd like to say a few words about Echo of Moscow and Silver Rain radio station. This is my favorite ones, and the Echo of Moscow is a typical news radio station, and they invited a lot of interested persons with different points of view, and they discuss with them hot button issues which is happening in Russia. Silver Rain is one. Another radio station is more entertainment radio station, but it keenly focused on support of community-mindedness person and events. And I draw your attention to Moscow FM. It's just one radio station in English language. It's speaking for English audience who lives in Moscow. And let's move to internet coverage. Every year, the numbers of internet users in Russia are rising up. For example, in 2014 years, they were 74 million users. In last year, we have 79. It means that half of Russian citizens are internet users. In this situation, that opportunities for development online media is extremely attractive. And just interesting fact, next slide, this slide shows us the internet in Russia began to develop in the beginning of this century, and the Kremlin first website launched in 22 years, but the White House first website launched in 1994 years. And the interesting fact that in this year in Russia government was created a special position, President's Internet Advisor. It's interesting because it's happened in just in this year. And let's now proceed to consider how state news agency works in Russia. We have just two news agencies. It's called Itartas and Sputnik. I worked as a press secretary in Sputnik, but in Russia it has another brand. It's Россия сегодня, or if you translate it, will be Russia Today, and the international brand is Sputnik. And Itartas works for internal audience. For example, they have 90 branches around the world, but all correspondent works for internal audience. This information translates in Russian language and published for Russian subscribers. Another situation with Sputnik, we have more than 150 branches around the world, and all information produced in English and another 20 languages, and all information produced for international audience, not for Russian people. And all these agencies has a huge budget. Can I say? And next slide will be about newspapers and magazines. And the Russian newspaper follows the world tendency and transformed into online. Interesting fact that every law which adopts in Russia into force, when it will publish in the main state newspaper Российская газета, their logo. And owners of one of the most popular paper like Ведомости or Forbes are partly foreign organization. And about it will be next slide. It's interesting fact that only in this year, according to the law, foreigners can have only 20% of authorized capital stock of Russian media. In last year, it was 50%. And you can compare how our politica changed now. It's interesting because just 6 foreign companies works in Russia, and if you look the site about newspaper, we can see here Ведомости and Forbes and Weekly. It's the most popular newspapers in Russia, and the owners of this newspaper from German, Finland, and other countries. And I can tell you about United States, for example. They have only entertainment media in Russia. It's Vogue, like GQ, Glamour, Tatler, and it's only newspaper, not broadcasting. They haven't a TV channel or radio station. But our news agency, for example, created own broadcast and own channels in other countries. For example, Russia Today created a video channel. Sputnik has own radio station in different countries. For example, in Latvia, we have own radio station in Moldova, and our main goal to create as much as possible radio station. And the interesting fact that foreign media in Russia just 380 in this year works, and the majority from the United States. It's 25 journalists who works in Russia and produce content for foreign media, like local newspapers and agencies. And we haven't, for example, journalists from Bhutan in Russia. It is not good, it's not bad, it's just a fact. And I'm almost finished. My forecast, it's my own opinion, the changing political and social situation in the world, modern economical reality, and emergency of new tweets forced to share a new media infrastructure in Russia with new rules of the game. And as a result, there is more government participation in media and probably on the restriction of information provided through social media. Foreign media probably will lose part of their market share. And my ramifications enlargement and media holdings are disappearance of small media because of economical reasons, changes of owners to media, and the distributions of participants of media markets. Concentration media resources in the hand of pro-governmental structures. The main spots for discussion will pass to internet. And thank you. Come to Russia, explore Russia, and understand Russia.
It's not good. It's not
Now there's probably some great questions. Wonderful presentation. Who's got a question for our colleague from Russia? Yes, Natalia, in English, not in Russian.
Okay.
Identify yourself.
Natalia from Moldova. I would like to know what is the tendency now in Russia about internet users, because you mentioned something about TV propaganda, and if there are any groups, journalists, activists that fight against TV, like biased people that are not objective about the facts. So is internet one of the platforms, and how actively people are using it?
Thank you for this question. Of course, we have, for example, we have Russian TV channel called Rain. It's means it's opposite channel in Russia, and they cover what they want. It's not government, of course, channel, and they have a special agenda, and you can.
How much people are trusting this, let's say, platforms? Because Dost, or Rain is very popular in Moldova. Many people read.
But you know, if you wanna watch this channel, you can be only subscriber. Can watch this content, and you can watch it free. Absolutely, you should pay money and receive this content. It's interesting situation because they have a huge community who can pay for this content.
Thank you, Anna. I want to learn more about freedom.
And where are you from, my friend?
Italien, Adukonou, from Benin.
Thank you.
So, about freedom expression in Russia, and I want to know if some journalists are arrested because of their point of view.
I didn't report about any arrested journalists in Russia, but it's typical situation. Do you have example? Do you know any example who was arrested in Russia?
I want to know, because for us, for me, Russia is a little bit. No. For me, as non-Russian, I see Russia like a dictatorial land where there is no real freedom of expression. Where when you don't follow the government, you can be arrested because of your opinion.
No, I think you can find a lot of freedom in Russia for journalists. If you are a journalist, you can find whatever you want, and any media what you want and how you can express your opinion. We have a very diversity media market now, and in the last 5 years, nothing happened with political journalists who works like opposite journalists, and they works and have a freedom. For example, we have a special magazine who cover opposite opinion with our government, and they have a huge audience, and they produce a good content, and it's a big community. And you can work for them.
You will identify yourself in this country.
Krivanovic, Chernogora, Montenegro. Just a comment. We live practically in the same environment as a journalist. There are multiple medias, but the question is, what is the freedom. It's not an abundance of media. It's media saying the right things and expressing the right things and exploring the right things. So back home, I have the same situation. There is abundance of media, but I don't know if it is a complete picture without investigative journalism. And by investigative journalism, I mean exploring what are the wrongdoings of the state officials and exploring what are their hidden treasures, as we could see at one of the reports by, what was it, or whatever. I don't know what the guy was. So my comment is that our same background, focuses me on this issue, that abundance of the media does not necessarily mean freedom.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
One last question.
I'm Bilal from the Maldives. Could you comment on the purpose or the objectives of media in Russia, maybe in comparison to a country like the US?
You want that I can compare?
No, the purpose of media, does it serve a different purpose, say in Russia, as it does in the US?
Okay. For example, media, when I worked, the main purpose to create open mainstream information, mainstream news, and spread all over the world our agenda.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for your
And we'll say at this point goodbye to those who are watching us on the internet, and hope you will join us again 1 week from today, when the focus will be on Africa as we continue Cronkite Global Conversations, the 2016 version. Thank you very much for being with us. Well, in the room, take a break here now for about 10 minutes, a bio break, and a chance to interact with both Ala and Raj. We've got individual follow-up questions. Our next session will start at 1:30, but we're going to gather beforehand and do a couple of things.
شفت العمالين بيمثلوه يخرب بيته وعندنا لا لا بالحروف كده وين الاسم
A-double-L-A
بس شنو هذا this is the name والله تلاقيها عارفه كل حاجه حبينا الديت تبعها
Data is not like very high, but we are much about all the other areas. But the methodology is not exactly. It's like how they computed it in the other one. I mean, how they computed that, we're not really. I was surprised. I mean, they didn't come exactly. Nobody died. Nobody thought it was doing so yeah, that's why I know. I don't think much
We could play the anthem all this all night.
Over here. But you don't have to. What did you tell me? I was watching you. You're supposed to be watching me. You didn't even tell me.
You scared the fuck out of me.
She's really scared.
Beyond
Hey.